How has the show affected you in Pavit?
You know, it's funny you asked that. So when I was going through the motions with my attorney, when we got the agreement and we were offered the role and whatever to be on the show, my attorney said to me, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, 100%. He represents lots of housewives. 100% of every single housewife I have taken on board as my client has gotten divorced. And he was like, "That is a stat from me." And he's done, I think he represents like 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 of them.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit like that was one of the first things, you know, red flags. I was like, shit, you know, like
a reality check.
Do I really want to do this? Because it can weigh heavily on a marriage. And I think, you know, because you have, you know, your issues with your spouse, wherever they may be, however small or large they are, you also have this entire universe of Bravo, you know, audience also weighing in on your marriage. And it's what happened to me episode 1.
Jeez.
I was like, okay, we're not playing around here. But it was the most innocent thing. I was cleaning a table. I was bossing my husband around, as you do. We've been married almost 10 years. Like, I don't sit on his lap and make out with him and like stroke his hair. Like, we're like, hey, like, it's like a list of shit that we got to get through in the day because we're running a marriage is like a business.
Right.
It's like, you know, you're CEO, I'm COO, and we are making things happen. Mm-hmm. And so for me, the way I talk to my husband is like, you don't wipe the table. Like, why? Like, it's just bossy.
Right.
Right. And so people saw that and they did not like it.
And that's what works for you guys, right? And so everyone's going to weigh in and have their opinion.
Yeah. You know, and it's not like that all the time. I mean, I think we're in private, we're like, you know, husband and wife, like lovey-dovey, we go on date nights. But when we're in like work mode, like marriage work mode, it is like XYZ, you got to get shit done.
Right. And listen, they're going to capture those bits and pieces for good entertainment.
Oh, 1,000%. So people were like, oh, she's so mean to her husband. But I got to tell you, as the season goes on, you see actually what our relationship is.
You felt it was a better reflection.
Definitely. Okay. Because I think that you see our dynamic. We were best friends first for years. We have a no frills relationship.
Right.
Like, it's really not like, you know, I don't ever need to look at my husband's phone. He never needs to look at my phone and go. I mean, if he did, like, he'd go through my text, but whatever. It's like we have he knows all the passwords to everything, right. Vice versa. Like, we have a very trusting relationship.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And we want to keep it that way.
Yeah, exactly. All you girls in his DMs and the ICU. Stay out.
Is that happening?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, for sure. People are ruthless.
This is crazy. Well, you know, you're on Front Street.
Yeah.
So what was the process for you to get on the show? How did it happen?
Well, it's funny because it happened. I laugh because we both know her. Savannah Engel. One word.
Savannah.
Savannah and I were in St. Bart's, and this is like May of 2021. We're in St. Bart's celebrating a good friend's birthday. And she was talking about how Bravo and NBC are revamping The Real Housewives. It's just like, you know, y'all, I'm talking to them.
She's got the sweetest Southern accent.
This is the Mississippi Delta.
Yes.
But she was talking to them seriously about being on the show. And she, you know, was like, Jessel, you should do it. And I was like, LOL, that's hilarious. Never,
right.
In my wildest dreams will I do it. But lo and behold, she actually gave a list of people that she is friends with, 2 producers, and they reached out to me. And we, you know, it was funny because it was one of those moments where you're like fucking around, you know,
right.
Like, this is like, oh, Ella, this is so fun. Like, it's fun to like talk about yourself and potentially explore something. But as this process started to go on and I kept like meeting the next person and I was like, oh crap, they like me. And this might actually be like a thing.
Right.
So yeah, it was very, very interesting because they were explaining to me what they had in mind. And I sort of started envisioning, okay, like, how can I make an impact? And we were sort of like, you know, seeing eye to eye on things. And it was a really interesting opportunity.
Amazing, amazing. So what are some things that you appreciated the most about the experience?
Self-awareness.
What do you mean by that?
I think that we all go through our day and we do what we do. And sometimes we're just not self-aware of how we are, how we come across, our tone, even what we wear. Like, oh my God, what was I wearing in that scene? When you watch yourself being filmed over the course of 4 months and then you see that play out on national television, you are so much self-aware of you.
Right.
So you see yourself. And I'm very privileged to go through this experience because you see yourself, you see how others perceive you, and you're like, it's a mirror, literally a mirror. And I think that to me has been the number one most powerful thing that I can take away from it, is looking and reflecting and being like, wow, I can do this better. I should be, I should like deal with things better in this way. It gives you and brings you a sense of self-awareness that you can never get without that experience.
Well, that speaks to your nature, that you would be take the opportunity to be introspective and make personal improvements, whatever those things may be.
Sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what did you hate?
Oh,
what did you hate?
Oh my God. It's an interesting question. I think it's something that I think about a lot. I really think that for me, what was tough was the things that you don't see. So there is this whole world that is shown and edited for the purpose of television. And, when you're watching the episodes, you're like, wait, that didn't happen that way. Or I didn't say it like that. Or the context is manipulated. And so that's one of the things that I could not really stomach. And also as publicists, we control the narrative.
Right.
We are the ones writing the story for brands, for us, for whoever it may be.
Shaping and shifting the wind.
Oh, yes. We are the shapeshifters of the industry. And to not have that control in the palm of your hand was really like, wow.
Yeah,
that's
I can
tough.
imagine for you, building your brand and structuring brands in the way that you do. That was probably a tough pill to swallow.
And I still went back and I tried to control the narrative. I'm calling NBC and I'm like, it didn't go down like that, guys. And they're like, you know what? Just let it be. Like, just stop trying to control things.
Right. You have to let it go.
Yeah.
It's going to be what it will be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the reunion happened. You got to the end of this thing.
Yes.
And it was a fun season. It was so great seeing you and I, friends with some of the ladies on the show. I mean, it was a lot of fun. But what are some things that the viewers and fans might be surprised to know about filming the the Housewives reunion?
The reunion in particular?
Yeah.
I think...
Or filming in general.
Yeah. I think
you kind of mentioned it just now. So, yeah, but go ahead.
It really is like,
as you wish.
It's the things that you don't see. And I also think that, we are a group of friends that come from such diverse and different backgrounds. And that was really... And it was always like a sociology like project, right? Like you put women from different backgrounds, different social, economic like upbringings and experiences. And that becomes this whirlwind of just like, it was like a volcano in a way. We had so many great things that happened throughout the course of filming, but there were also so many tough, scenarios that went down. And I think it's interesting how opinions can somehow, you're sort of going through this blindfolded in a way because you don't know what the end piece is going to be.
Right.
I think it took a lot of us for like a loop, big time. And as this was airing, we have a group text and we were just all like, oh my God, like, why did you say that about me? Or like, how could you do that?
Really?
Or yeah. It's like, imagine.
And you're trying to maintain a friendship through all of this.
100%.
Friendships.
We're trying and I think we've done a really good job of communicating. But what happens behind the scenes. And
so you're watching the show and like literally in the chat, everyone's like, why did you say this about me? Because It was, and we had to, because you can't just pull a blindfold over or like put a cotton butt. Like you can't do that because you are forced to exist and coexist. Like
as friends, if I heard you said something about me, I'd be like, F you, Mindy. Like, why would you do that? And then I have the opportunity to not be your friend anymore.
Boom.
Do you know what I
Because
mean?
I just be like, sayonara, never.
Yeah. Bye, bitch.
But it's like, you got to sit in the thing.
You got to sit, you got to exist, you got to churn, you got to like coexist, and you got to communicate and get and find a way out of it.
Right.
And so that for us was such a tough experience. And we all we came out of it, I think, I hope, unhinged.
Right.
But going through that process was so tough.
But it's also a life lesson.
Yeah.
I hear you. I think most people, it's just like when you're grown, it's just like, listen, I don't have time for the drama. You don't get it. I don't get you. Peace.
Yeah.
We
don't have to coexist.
Right.
And that's cool. And we'll be cordial and lovely. And, it's like, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Like that. And that's what it is. But like here, it's like you don't have a choice.
Right.